anyway, I'm very grateful that we're here together in this evening. And I wanted to explain a little bit why we have this group at the Cancer Center. And it started as a spiritual support group several years ago that Zariah was helping us with. This was probably 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And at the center we have several different groups. There are support groups for different cancers. There is a caregiver group that Dr. Brenner runs. And the spiritual group has been, it's something special on itself. And Zariah will talk a little bit about that. But we know in medicine that there is so many wonderful things happening in medicine and science and the advances of science. But one of the things that is going to be very hard to explain and scientifically prove the power of the human spirit. And we actually don't need to prove that because we know how powerful the human spirit is. So when we talk about meditation, reflection, imagery, and prayer, we know that these things are very effective. And this group, we also talk about prayer because it's a group that gets together, meditates together, shares inspirational experiences together, and prays together. And we call it a group that is interfaith because people of all beliefs and traditions come together and we get to pray together. We know that there have been studies done about prayer, and we would expect that all the prayer studies should be encouraging and positive, but there are some conflicting results. And I personally think that it's because it's hard to prove scientifically something that is in the realm of God or the infinite creator and power of the universe. So we all know just by instincts and intuition that prayer works. And people that come together and pray together, there's going to be some powerful results. Now some results are hard to measure, and we in general would like to see results immediately. And one of the things we talk about in the group is that God and our spirit and the human spirit can create miracles that sometimes we don't see them as the results that we're expecting. They come in other ways. So that's one of the things we talk about in this group, and what helps us feel better, what keeps our spirit and soul strong. And it's very interactive, and each one shares their own experience. What keeps them feel better and feel strong, especially in those difficult times, and those moments of uncertainty, and the moments that we feel helpless. And Dr. Brenner is very good in explaining and helping us in moments of feeling powerless and helpless. But this group is very important, and I believe as a physician, as an oncologist, that more and more cancer centers will be having spiritual groups. Some already do. Throughout the country and throughout the world, cancer centers have groups that may focus on spirituality and may focus on prayer and meditation.
Mindfulness.
So spirituality and medicine really go hand in hand. And we, as much as medicine and science is advancing, we may forget about this. But it's important to bring it all together as part of an integrative cancer center. So I would like to ask you, Zariah, about what are your thoughts about this group and how you feel it's come along since we started it under your guidance several years ago.
Well, as you do everything here, it's always a team effort. And so we came together and we're sort of saying, you know, we feel the need for this, and yet this is a quote, medical setting, and yet we want to treat the whole person. And we all know too the power of thought, and that is the power why prayer, meditation is so powerful. We're stilling the mind, we're stilling our thoughts, we're becoming more peaceful, we're going within. And so we just wondered, how might we do this, what might we call it, in a medical setting? So we feel that all of us and the community members and patients here and from the community, we're all pioneers in this. So that's why it's very slippery for us to, what do we call this? A spiritual support group, a meditation prayer group. And yet we wanted it to be inclusive of all beliefs and of all people. And I think we're realizing that whether we call it prayer or whatever nurtures our spirits, and very often it's music, or it's nature, it's reading or poetry, it's being with animals or children, or laughter. And so how can we come together and explore what is it? How do we nurture our spirits? How to support each other? Because our healing and our wholeness needs all of us involved. And we are so powerful in what we think. And we know from the work now of Dr. Emoto out of Japan, just working with water and water crystals, that a mere printed word on a container of water, or a group praying around a polluted pond can actually change the molecular structure of the water. And we're made up mostly of water. And so our thoughts and keeping ourselves in a positive spirit is definitely contributes to our wholeness and healing. So it's been a thrill for me and for us to learn from all the participants, and it's an ongoing creation. And I'm just thrilled to be part of it. Honored.
Well, thank you for working with us through this, and especially at the beginning of it for the last several years, and it's come